Hello everyone and welcome to today's Quick Tip. I'm Chris and I'm here with Mike. And today we welcome you to our DTF Deep Dive. So this is where we really want to demonstrate how we have any tool, feature, option, possibility for your specific workflow in DTF. So in some cases, we'll be referring you to other video series that we have, but for the important stuff, we're going to really go into detail about exactly how you can leverage Ergosoft for your DTF printing. So, Mike, let's start with the workflow, getting the files, how you need them. We'll talk about the white. We'll talk about visualization of the output. And then hopefully we will culminate with just here's how easy it is.
Yeah, no problem. Let's jump into it. Importing images and getting them to import how you want them to is what we'll start with. Let's just say I import this image here, right? It's some shoes. It automatically scaled it to the size that I predetermined. And the way I did that is with a preset. So this is an image preset up here. And I have some that I already have defined. I have a 10 by 18, a 16 by 22, and an 18 by 26. Let's say I need a new one. Let's say it is 15 by 30. Okay. So if I can click this button and create a new image preset. So with all of these settings in here, you have image format, which is the one that we're going to be using mostly right now. And what we can do here is set our width and our height right in the size section. So if we do 15 inches wide by 30 inches tall, if you just set that, it's going to kind of scale your image according to your fit and alignment settings. So the fit and alignment settings down here are what determines how the image is treated to scale to that 15 by 30 size. So for instance, fit only is going to just fit it to whatever size makes most sense. That's what we're going to use. But you also have fit by margin, which will add margins, and fit by crop, which will actually crop your image to fit, which sometimes you don't want that because it might crop off a part of the image that you need. So normally I recommend fit only because it actually works the best. And you can also, on the bottom where it says rotate and mirror, you can rotate your image if you would like, but best fit will rotate your image depending on how it's going to fit best within your size that you set up.
So you're kind of working some efficiency into the scaling process by letting Ergosoft do the adjustment for you on the fly.
Exactly. So for instance, this is a 15 by 30. If I have an image that is 28 inches wide by 12 inches tall, it's going to rotate it to fit it so it doesn't have just a tiny little image in the middle. It's going to rotate it to fit it taller.
Yeah, and so for anyone watching now, you're probably thinking, okay, I have this predetermined product range. Sometimes customers order a custom size transfer. Sometimes you're making products where you know your sizes and you just need to produce according to those sizes. As soon as you set up a preset in Ergosoft, it's there forever. It exists as a dropdown. And one thing I want to mention is that in our latest release, we now have the ability to organize your presets according to your own custom product name. So think about it from the perspective of a print operator. Let's say you're managing 30 different DTF sizes. Well, you can categorize those names according to your product name, and then you have a series of dropdowns that allows the operator to easily dial into exactly which preset they need according to your internal product nomenclature, which is very, very nice. It gives you the flexibility of having a wide range of presets, but also the simplicity of ensuring that you're picking the right one for the specific job.
Now that we have all of our settings set how we want them to be, I'm going to save this as a preset for future use. So I'm just going to save this real quick. 15 by 30, best fit, right? And now we have that up here. So let's hit OK. Now we have to give the combined preset of all of those presets a final name. I'm going to call it basically the same thing. 15 by 30 best fit, right? Now, if you look in our dropdown that I showed you earlier, we have our new preset in there. So if I have that one selected and I import the same shoes, you see now it's bigger because it fits the 15-inch wide, and this one was 10-inch wide.
And very quickly, we do have an entire video series on our preset suite. So if you have any additional questions about them, you can watch those videos.
Definitely. Yes, thank you. These images here are actually transparent. So let's say you want to preview how your images look on like a transparent background. We can do that. We have job presets over on the top right here. And I've made a couple that I'll show you, but let's start with the transparent background. So if you select it, you have to, it'll be applied when you open a new job, right? So you're gonna open a new job. I'm gonna import that same image and you'll see that it is transparent, right? So it's showing you the transparency of your image. If you want to do maybe if you're printing a bunch for a black material, you can do that as well. Right? You have black. You can also do any color you want. Like we have baby blue. I'll just say you can any colors you want to do. You can just select it from your eyedropper, pick any color on the spectrum, and use that as a background simulation.
Excellent. So I see some presets automatically in the tool. We have white, colored, and transparency, and black, of course. Because Ergosoft is a tool that's utilized for both DTF and DTG, some of those options are in there, like black, for example, pretty standard color in DTG. But uh, picking your own custom color is very easy, and this really enables you to do two things. One is with a PNG file, especially if you're getting files in from outside sources, you might want to give that thing a quick kind of quality check, let's say. Uh, Obviously, with the transparent grid in the background, you'll be able to see if there's any potential issues with the file. And then with the colored background, especially if you are pressing the shirts in your facility and selling the final product, if there's a request for a funky shirt color, or if there is a file and shirt color combination that could potentially be a little uneasy on the eye, you can get an idea of that right in Ergosoft. So it hopefully saves you a significant amount of time in the pre-press phase. Before anything is printed and before anything is on a garment, you have the ability to get out in front of potential issues and also just kind of verify the overall quality of what's happening downstream.
Next, we're going to jump into the white ink generation. White ink generation, you can do it in a few different ways. I'm going to show you through the print environment first. Now, the print environment, for anyone that's not aware, is where you have your color critical settings, your linearization, your printer profile, which is down here on the bottom. This print environment has a bunch of other settings also for your printer. It's just a whole slew of settings and configurations for your printer and your output. Now you can change things like the resolution. Let me show you here. So like right here, you have resolution. So you could have two print environments that maybe one of them is 600 dpi and one of them is 300, or one of them is a smaller media and one of them is larger media, right? So you can have different print environments that are all going to the same printer. But what I wanted to show you especially is in the printing ink assignment, we have our white channel here. If you click the edit button, the settings button, you can see here you can generate white. So all the bottom down here, this bottom 2/3 is for white generation. So if we click generate pixels, it is going to generate white for your image that you print with this print environment based on these settings. So you can see here on complete image background. So anything where there's a pixel of data, even if it's white data, like 0000, it will print white behind that. And you also have wherever something is printed or where nothing else is printed. So if you want to flood only where there's nothing printed, those are some options in here for you. And you have a density of your white channel. So if you wanted, remember I mentioned you can have multiple print environments for the same printer. You could have a print environment that's 100% coverage, another one that's 75% coverage, and another one that's maybe 50% white density coverage. So then you can just select the one you want and rip your job. You also have shrink down here, which is choke, shrink, same thing. You can turn it on or off, and you can do it by the X and Y axis, or you can do it separately or individually. So if you don't want the Y axis shrunk, you can have it 0, or you can have, like if you want the Y axis for 4 and the X axis is 2, you can do that. You can manage them separately. That's basically it for the white generation in the print environment. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to hit OK. Now again, I have 2 print environments here, right? Printer 1 and printer 2. These are going to different printers. So if I go into this one, you'll see those settings that I just set are not set here. So it's different for each print environment. That's something that really keep in mind, because you can make all different types of settings.
Quick aside. So for anybody that hasn't used Ergosoft, let's say that you have a fleet of printers, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but you're managing multiple DTF machines. You get your white ink setting dialed in on printer number 1. Mike, let's show everyone how easy it is just to copy that over. So we have printer number 1, white settings dialed in. Let's make one for number 2.
So with our white settings dialed in on number 1, if I want to move those settings to number 2, let's say, I can click the copy button down here, and I'm going to call it number 2, and I'm going to put white at the end so I know that the white is dialed in, right? Now if I copy it, so now this one is a literal copy of the number 1 print environment. So then all I would have to do is go to settings and change the print queue, which is what sends the data to the printer, to printer number 2. So what we have is a print environment with the white settings dialed in perfectly that on printer number 1, but now this one is printing to printer number 2.
Perfect. So it's easy to see based on the flexibility that managing multiple printers is very quick and efficient. Using Ergosoft based on our model of the relationship between print environments and print queues, so that if you're using, let's say, 5, 6, 7 DTF machines, as soon as you get your one printer dialed in, it's very efficient to copy over all those settings to print environments for other machines. Thank you, Mike.
Exactly. No problem. Perfect. Thank you. Let's look at extra channels. Extra channels is on the right side of our screen over here with an image selected. This is where you can generate white based on each image, and you can set up a bunch of different options on how to generate the white. I'll scroll through a few of them here for you. So for instance, lightness, right? Lightness is going to generate white based on how light the color is. So the darker the color, the less white it's going to use. I do know there's also other options like CMYK median, complement, right? Maximum. There's a bunch of options. You can pick an output profile channel to duplicate, right? So many different options. Now, a lot of times with DTF, we find people using just the complete background because they want a solid white base underneath their color. You can set up a gradient which allows you to change the density of the white. So for instance, I have these here. So let's select the 50%, right? The white preview on the bottom, that's showing you a density preview of the white channel, the white layer. If I go to 75, you can see here it's showing you a darker preview, and 100, it's a darker preview. Because what this is doing is I'm changing the gradient to have more or less density. Like this one's 75%, see that? So it's more or less density of your white layer in your extra channels. Now, doing the white generation through extra channels allows you to apply it per image. That's one thing to remember, is that if you're doing white generation through your environment, that's going to be for the entire job. But if you wanted this one here to be 100% white and this one here to be 50, you can do that with extra channels. You also have on the bottom the same choke pixel reduction, one for the x-axis, or you can select the y-axis to be different or the same. So you do have options for that as well here.
Very nice. So regardless really of what your production requirements are for the white layer generation, there is more than sufficient flexibility for you to ensure that you have what you need quickly and efficiently.
Definitely. You mentioned having a bunch of printers, right? So let me show you the print queues. If you have, right now I have 2 printers set up. So right here, these are the print queues. That's what they look like. And if you send the files to print to printer 1, they're going to show up on the printer 1 print queue. And if you send them to printer 2, they're going to show up on the printer 2 print queue. And if you have 6 printers, you could have 6 of these open, and you can monitor what's going on each of the printers, and it gives you kind of a progress bar of how much longer there is to print and how much time is left. If you want kind of an overall preview of jobs that are going through your system right now, you can use the queue manager, which is right here. Let me open that up real quick. But the queue manager puts all of your jobs together in one manager, so you can see what's happening, what's waiting, what's printing, what's not.
So this is a really important thing for everyone to be aware of, is that with a program like Ergosoft, we can run any number of machines from the same PC. Of course, there's limitations in terms of the performance of your PC itself, but there's no licensing restriction. You purchase an additional Q license and you're able to add another machine to your existing RIP installation. And so the scalability is very nice, but a tool like the Queue Manager allows you a high-level overview of essentially all of your production work in one central screen. And additionally, to add on to what Mike said, you can utilize the Queue Manager to change the priority of certain jobs as well. So if you have a rush order that comes in and you want to bump that job to the front of the line, you can do that either in the queue or in the Queue Manager.
So we have the queue manager. I want to mention also the cost manager. We have a cost manager built into our system where you can set up your media cost. It's in here. Tools, cost manager. You can set up your media cost, your ink cost, your labor cost, all of that. And then you can also get job cost estimates right here in Job Composer. I just wanted to show you that that's available here as well. And we also have videos on our channel available for name colors, because we have a whole workflow for name color replacement. Automatically will replace your name colors if you have them in your artwork.
Excellent. So yes, we certainly encourage everyone to take a look at the other video series that we have about different parts and pieces of the product. But ultimately, hopefully you can see through this video that the level of functionality you need for DTF printing is certainly there with Ergosoft. And hopefully we have demonstrated that once you configure Ergosoft, it is going to make your life easy. It's going to make your printing process more efficient, and it's going to allow you to do more with the hardware that you have now, because it's going to save time and it's going to make your process more efficient. So, Mike, as always, very helpful. Appreciate it. And thanks for watching, everyone. Please contact us if you have any questions.